Okay guys, this is Biology 101 on how to actually look at cells. So the very first part of the series is you guys just learning how to make your own slides so you can look at and investigate cells. And today we're going to look at how to make a wet mount slide, which is simply a slide that's got wet stuff on it and has water covering the specimen, so it helps you to see it better. How to stain that slide, so using liquid stains that help grip onto part of the cells so that we can see them a bit better, and how to draw that so that you can communicate what you saw to other people. If you're very lucky, you might be able to get out some phones later on and take photos, but you do have to learn how to draw them. It's actually part of your communication marks. So I'm just going to focus it down here because I can't pause this video so you can actually see what I'm doing. So here's my workspace. Now on your desks, and you're sharing this between two groups, you've got slides, cover slips, some cotton wool, some bromothymol blue, iodine, and you've got some concentrated sodium chloride. Now, and also a pipette. Now it's really important that you're careful with these chemicals. They will actually hurt your eyes, so make sure you have goggles on. It can do permanent eye damage if you get them in your eyes, so be very careful. So the very first thing I need you to do is to take out a slide, and we're just going to put my favourite little medium of all on it, pond scum. I literally squeezed this out of my fish tanks this morning. Okay, you're going to put one drop of it, and I do mean one drop, too much is not a good thing. One drop on your slide like that. Okay, now before we do anything else, we're actually going to add something to that slide that you won't always do, but with pond water you will. We're going to add in some fences. Now that sounds a bit weird, but that's literally what we're doing. There is lots and lots of little microbes in there, but they tend to swim around really fast and it's hard to see them. If you put the tiniest, and this is literally how much I've got here, the tiniest little bit of cotton wool on there, so you can barely see it, it will actually act as a corral for the microbes in there so that they can't escape and you can have a look at them. Now after that we're going to put on a cover slip. Now these cover slips here, be really careful. When you open the container it can be hard, and then people tend to reef it open really hard, and then cover slips go everywhere and things get broken. If you've got nails, just stick them in there. You can open the container and get your cover slip out. Just one. They're very, very fine glass. Okay? And then make sure you close that up again, otherwise we're going to have a mess. Take your cover slip and pop it in that pond water there. Now I'm just going to bring it closer. Now the idea is, yep, you can see a bit better there. The idea is to put it just on the edge of the pond water until the water grips it, and then we drop the cover slip down so that it pushes the air out the other side as it drops, okay? And that way you get a cover slip with pond water and your cotton wool in there to corral it, but nothing, no air bubbles that will make it hard for you to see, because air bubbles are actually really annoying. You don't want them in there, okay? And you're going to take that and use it and have a look at it under the microscope before we do anything else. So I'm going to focus that over here. Let's put it around this way. Okay, so here's your microscope. First of all, make sure that you have it on the smallest setting, okay? The very small one, not any of the bigger ones. Turn it on and pop on your little slide, okay? I tend not to use these little grips things here because I find they just annoy me when I'm trying to move stuff around, okay? So you pop it on, and the idea is that you have two different focuses, as you've already learned. This is the one that will focus it it'll change the picture quite a lot when you move it. See how that's moving quite a lot when I move it? And you have a fine focus here, which will actually barely move that stand up and down for focusing. You only use this one on the first two settings on this microscope, okay? The little one and the medium one. When it gets to this big one here, sometimes that can be so close to your slide. If you use this, you'll ram this into the cover slip and break it and damage the lens that's in here. So whatever you do, we use this one when we've got the smaller settings, but we only use fine focus on the highest setting. Okay, so get it just to that first one there. I'm going to turn this around a little bit so I can see it, and we focus ourself on that slide just like that. And if you want to fine tune it, you use the fine tuning knobs here, and you won't see much, but you'll see a little bit. And then to have a better look, you go to the next setting, okay, which is the 10 times setting. Turn that round. Now, even now, if you've already focused it on that first setting, the 4 times, you should just be able to use the fine focus now to have a look at what is there without touching the gross focus here at all, okay? I don't want you touching that any further. And you can have a try on the high setting, but you have to promise me one thing. First of all, look what I'm doing. I get down to this level here, okay? And I look and I double check that this is not going anywhere near my slide, because if, and I'll push it right up here, if it was really close, sometimes you can try and turn that down and it won't even fit to get under the slide. So sometimes you can't even use this higher setting. Check visually before you do it, okay? But if you can, great. Now I've just sort of messed up my settings there, but there we go. Fine setting there, have a look and see what you see, okay? Once you do see some things in there, you're going to be drawing them, okay? So I'm going to focus it back up here. To draw them, it's pretty simple, okay? Here's the rule. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's practically all you have to remember. Number 1, you don't have any, what am I saying here? You don't have any colouring in, you don't have any 3D shapes. Like when we are doing pictures in science, we keep them very simple. They're just line drawings. Everything is just try and show the outline of everything that you see, and it's nice and labelled. I'm going to show you pictures of this in your book later on as well, but there's no 3D artwork, there's no shading allowed. It's just very straightforward so that people can get a quick and accurate picture of what you saw. Okay, so the keep it simple stupid rule is what I want you to do for now while you're trying to draw what you see under the microscope. So what I want you to do now, before you go further, is you need to take a piece of paper, have your name on it, try and draw some of the things that you see under there, decent size. I want them several centimetres in size at least, and you can't label them yet, but you can at least draw them as best you can. Not easy, but give it a go. Now you want need to pause the video here and do some drawing, and then you're going to have another look at the video and learn how to stain. Okay, now I'm not going to draw, but you guys have. We're now going to learn how to stain our slide. So here's our slide again. I'm going to focus down here again. Now it's pretty simple. You just have to add in a little bit of drop of bromothymol blue and an iodine. Now essentially what you are doing here is you're going to kill anything that is on that slide when you do this. Okay, so now what I've done is I've put a drop just on the edge of one side of the cover slip. I haven't removed the cover slip, I've just put the drop on the edge there. Now that's the iodine, and I'm also going to drop on 1 drop of bromothymol blue. Okay, now when you drop that on, it actually starts to get sucked underneath. You're going to get a tissue to pull it the rest of the way through. Just a minute. On here, I want you to get a tissue or piece of paper towel, and on the other side of your cover slip here, if you stick that on there, it will start to pull some of that pond water through, and it will also pull the stain through. Okay, so I want you to give that a go. It takes a little bit to give it a try, but that's pulling that through now. Now there's a lot of waste on the top there. You might think that it's not doing anything, but it is. Then I want you to just dab the stuff that you accidentally dropped on the top of the cover slip off, like this, and you have, you might be able to see it here, a stained slide. Okay, it's only fine, but you can see that the stain is actually underneath the cover slip. Now I want you to go and have a look at that again and do some drawings and see if you can add to what you've seen. Now finally, last step is, instead of just looking at pond water, I was going to let you do the same thing with Alodia here. So Alodia is a pond plant, and it's pretty much exactly the same deal. You take just one leaf like this, and you put that one leaf on your slide, and add a little bit of pond water with it, okay, or clean water, so that you've got water on that slide to get rid of the air bubbles. Okay, and again you put on a cover slip, have a look at it under the microscope, and then stain it. Don't stain it first, have a look at it without the stain first, and then have a look at it with the stain. And again, I want you to draw some of the cells that you see. Okay, now plant cells are quite different than what you've just seen on your first slide, but so I want you to have a look at them and draw them. That's what it should look like. I'm going to move that back there. There you can see on the background. That's what your leaf should look like. Have a look at it under the slide, under the microscope. Draw it, then stain it, and add to your drawing once you've got it stained. Now, the very last thing is, if you actually get through all of this, you can do something really cool, which is you can kill the leaf cells and see what happens. If you put 1 drop of sodium chloride on there and suck it through, you will see a big change in what's happening inside the cells. You can even see the chemical reactions stopping while you look. Okay, so if you do it really quickly and have it all focused on the microscope, you can put some sodium chloride on the plant cells here and see how that affects it, once you've done all the other previous activities I've asked you to do. Okay, good luck guys. I hope that makes sense. I'll be in the classroom helping you if you have any questions.